Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this right now, asking yourself, what do the questions of the universe hold, then we must sadly tell you, we got nothing. Greetings and salutations, my psychedelic children, my beautiful souls, and welcome once again into this expose in the art of conversation. We got nothing. I am your host, Catalyst Jost, coming at you once again from the beautiful Sunshine Wasteland of Central Florida, here today with not one, but two very special guests. We are former brothers in arms in the service and restaurant industry at a little place that was once known as Hall on the Yard. Look that shit up, folks. Chances are it will make it into today's conversation. But also, these two knuckleheads are also part of an up-and-coming rock band that already has a couple of singles out right now. So please help me welcome my guest at this time. One, Top G Sam Gillis, Brick Theory Ty Demeter. They are the Older Party! What's good, gentlemen?
What's up, Wild Witch of the West? You're sounding pretty good today.
Hola.
Man, thanks for having us, DJ.
No problem. Thank you. Finally, been trying to get this for a little bit. It's well, as we know, life. For real, though.
Yeah, no, for real. For real, though.
So, how things been with you guys as of late?
Not too bad. We just dropped our latest single, Heart Attack. So that's been doing as well as you can expect things to do at this point in our career, but it's nice to have, a foundation starting to appear. We dropped Daisies a little bit ago. That did pretty good. I mean, pretty good reception across the board.
Daisies was good, but I feel like Heart Attack is definitely going to be you've been really promoting that too. You guys did a video on that. Am I wrong?
We haven't done a music video or anything yet. We've got a lot of behind the scenes videos and just stuff.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. I think Ty would agree on the topic of Heart Attack, sounding better. For us, since we do everything ourselves, the recording, the producing, and we try to use as many real instruments as possible, I feel like every time we sit down and we work on a project, we are getting better and better. And it's just minor things that are adding up over the grand scheme of it, and I think Ty would agree that it's really impacting the quality.
The process of how Daisies was made versus the process of how Heart Attack was made. Like, you were going through the output of your old amp, which is just the little SSL amp, and then I think we were emulating a Marshall on my Apollo. Well, versus now we're actually miking up.
Well, that's where we started with the Apollo, actual built-in, the Marshall emulation, and that sounded good, but we want to, I think something that we were really focused on capturing with this song in particular is how we sound if you're actually hearing us. And so a big part of that was we want to record the drums that we're using when we play, we want to record
the amp itself.
The guitars that we're using when we play. So we want it to sound as authentic.
Yeah, I was about to say, you all guys also have a classic punk style. I sense, especially from your vocal style, there's a bit of Green Day in there, but there's also a bit of that guttural, throaty rock and metal sound, kind of almost like Green Day, but a little bit more gravel with the vocaling.
Yeah, man. I mean, I try to emulate certain people, emphasis on the try. I think vocally, I just kind of work with what I've got, and I try to, use all the tools at my disposal. And so, I definitely, my writing is influenced by a lot of, that 90s, early 2000s punk, and even some grunge. The Arctic Monkeys, huge influence on my writing. Alex Turner, the way he kind of wrote a lot of his early stuff. Definitely has an influence on the way I write, and I think that has an influence on the way that I eventually perform stuff too, because Billy Joel, he played guitar and he sang at the same time. I feel like that, doing both of those things in tandem is what kind of gives me a more unique sound as compared to somebody who's just doing vocals, you know?
Yeah, no, what is it? Coming back from the soccer field Monday, like hearing it for the first time. I'd only heard it bits and pieces on the Insta stories and whatnot. And for the record, folks, Heart Attack and Daisies can be found on Spotify and whatnot.
Everything. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Pandora. If you can stream music, YouTube, if you can stream music on it, those songs are...
And I added it to SoundCloud.
Yeah, and SoundCloud too. So check us out on SoundCloud. We might drop some like B-side
Also,
demos.
really quick before I forget, I agree with everything Sam was saying about his like vocal inspirations. However, I don't think emulate or emulation is the right term. I think you're just inspired. I don't think you're trying to like bite anyone.
Oh no, I mean for sure. Like I just think like it's that subconscious. Like you grow up listening to certain stuff, and then so when you eventually do go to do something, like it's not like I'm trying on purpose, but you know, in my head when I think about like the way that I would like sing the songs I write, I just think, you know, it's influenced by that just because I've listened to so much of it, and that's been like my foundation.
Right.
You know, it's like if somebody grew up listening to opera, they'd probably be a little more operatic. In their style
it's not like you're like plagiarizing or anything like that.
No,
like
for sure.
you're just like it just works its way into the style, like especially when you're in the moment when you're creating.
Yeah, every artist is inspired by artists that they like, and so your own art is going to be a projection of not only the stuff you were exposed to, but stuff that you're fans of. You know, you're going to be a fucking modge podge of all the different elements in other artists that you enjoy.
Well, I mean, fundamentally, right, art is derivative. So, like, especially in today's day and age, there's not, like, you could argue that there's a lot of original art being created, but the small details of these pieces of art might not be like entirely unique. You know, you see a lot of examples today of people like writing stuff and it sounds similar to something from like the 70s and the 80s, and I'm sure people don't do that on purpose. It's just, you know, I like to talk about your subconscious, but you hear so much stuff that it's like when you eventually do start creating, it's like that inspiration comes from within and you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think just to tell this really quick, there's a story of George Harrison of the Beatles, and he wrote it was some song about God, and I feel so bad that I don't remember it, but I don't listen to a whole lot of George Harrison solo stuff. But he wrote that completely on his own. He released it, and then he ended up having a lawsuit levied against him by this female group from like the 70s, and the melody in the chorus was almost identical. It literally sounded like he ripped it, but he didn't. You know, it was just a coincidence. You know, because it's bound to happen. There's only, you know,
12
so many notes.
12 notes.
In Western music, yeah, there's only 12 notes that you could use if you're tuning to normal temperaments. So it's like, it was just a coincidence. And he talked about in an interview how it really made it hard for him to continue writing after something like that, because you don't want people to think that you're ripping people off, but you also don't want to create something that somebody's already created before. And so I try not to worry too much about like, oh man, am I ripping somebody off unintentionally? Like if I do, I'll cross that road when I get to it. But like honestly, like I said, we're working with what we have, right? So we're doing everything ourselves. So if it happens, it happens. But
no, you gotta fuck around and find out, because like otherwise, like creation wouldn't be happening. Like so I'm curious, like so one, what inspired you guys to like get together like as creators and friends to make the Over Party, and two, why did you choose like more the rock punk sound versus any other genre?
There's a couple different angles to, I guess, answer what you just asked. Sam would like to hit the vape.
I was confused.
busted.
So actually, we made music first before we were friends. Sam will take his approach on his kind of writing.
Tell him about your perspective.
But my perspective, my introduction. We worked at a restaurant together called Chroma. I was a server. He was a busser at the time. And one of our coworkers,
Shout out to Boston.
Yeah, shout out to Boston. So I came up to Boston one day and I was like, "Yo, I I want to work on music with like another artist. Like I haven't recorded someone in a while, and the people that I have recorded relatively recently, like to that time frame, they were just annoying, and so they're like, "Oh, go talk to Sam. Go talk to Sam." So I caught Sam in the dish pit, and I was just like, "Yo, heard you make music, heard you write, heard that you play the guitar. Maybe we could do something. I have a studio set up at my house." He's like, "All right," like, and so we like figured out a day, and he pulled up, and I don't think either of us knew what we were getting into. I think based on how I approached Sam, I believe he was like, "Oh, this guy, he doesn't know what the fuck." I feel like Sam had doubts.
No. So I didn't have doubts. I come from.
Or you thought I was a tool.
I didn't think you were a tool. I didn't think any of that. Maybe a little bit. I come from my foray into music was very kind of classically motivated. I started learning piano and I took lessons for that for a little bit when I was in high school. And then when I eventually graduated, I was like, oh, I want to go to school for piano and I want to pursue performance. And I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with the music thing, but I knew I wanted to do something with it. And I knew that I wanted to kind of get into the creative aspect of it in writing. Because I love performing other people's stuff, but frankly, what brings me a lot of value is creating my own stuff. And so I had heard Ty and one of our other coworkers kind of talking about like SoundCloud stuff, and I just assumed, because in the rap game especially, I think you can attest to this. There's a lot of posers, like people who claim they're all about the music, but they really just want like the clout, and they really just want to like post stuff online and like have people be like, oh yeah, like just give them like little dopamine rushes, and it's not even like quality music. It's just like some beat they found on YouTube and then they rap like some like stuff they wrote in like 10 minutes over it, and they think that's great just because they throw like some weird production on it. And sometimes it's really good, but a lot of the time it just sounds like the same thing.
Average local rapper type beat.
And so when I heard this little conversation, on the side, I was like, oh yeah, this guy's not like super like serious about it. And then when he approached me, I was like, you know what? I haven't really worked with anybody else other than like myself and like a couple of my friends. So, why not give it a shot? And I think you can agree that that was such a great fucking decision to make, because when we eventually did meet up at your crib, like it felt like it was flowing so smoothly. It took a little bit for us to kind of get everything started.
Yeah.
But once we got all the plugins set up and we kind of figured out what we were doing, I had already come with this song. I had written, it was okay. It's called If You're Hearing This, I Hope It Hurts or something. And I had a riff for that, but it came together really quick. And then I remember you were layering stuff on the drums, and that like kind of funkiness that you added to it, I wouldn't have even thought of, and it just sounded so cool. And I want to say unique, but it's kind of hard to be unique in the space of rock music nowadays because there's like 40 years of history. But as unique
to you, or what you would have, what you would have done.
I would have created on my own. And so that, that kind of opened my eyes.
And then,
I saw how serious you were about it. Like you're not playing.
Yeah, because that stems from my history is making rap beats. Like, obviously, I've played the drums, I've played guitar and stuff, but the main focus, like, I was just making rap beats for a long time just to kill time. It was just therapeutic for me. So it was cool to be able to take that knowledge and like translate it into a different, I guess, language, aka the genre of rock. And it's crazy because we weren't even friends, and what made us friends is how that studio session ended, because it ended with my fucking my ex
coming through. She comes into the house.
Yeah,
we're both sitting there. She's like, "Oh, you have somebody over." Went into the room and then left, and I was like, "Oh wow!"
Yeah, and then just started fucking. She threw like a mini temper tantrum. It was like slamming shit in the counters and like dishes, and she was just like being
whatever.
petty.
It's whatever.
And then I just remember like Sam was like, "Yo, what's good?" And then like I kind of elaborated on like the situation. I don't even remember all the details to it. I just remember, it was just like typical petty fight between a couple.
Chopped it up, man. We chopped it up.
And then
It's a good perspective.
Yeah, and
you know?
then I think that's what made Sam realize that I actually have a little bit of fucking depth to me beyond the fucking music. And you're like, oh, okay, well, shit. Like, if you ever need anything, like, I got you. Like, on a on like a personal
on a personal level. Yeah.
And then I was like,
because
wow.
dude, I could relate to what you were going through. You know,
Yeah, because I feel
can
yeah,
understand.
you've had plenty of petty fucking fights with exes before. We all have.
I think everybody's had
Yeah.
petty fights with exes.
I just want to point out that I find it funny that like it was like problems with a girl that brought you guys together as opposed to like usually it's the polar opposite.
Yeah, right.
Well, she didn't necessarily bring us together. It was the fact of Sam witnessing some kind of tension between us made him curious, like, is everything all right? And then that's where the personal connection that me and Sam have, like, that was the beginning of it.
Not to get into like psychoanalysis, but I just thought that after that had happened, the way that you talked to me about it post tense, I thought it was quite mature. Especially, you know, I've had conversations with some people, and I just like I don't know how to be like, yo, bro, like you're the problem. Like it's like you are the issue in this situation. You might like feel like you're not, but you know, so it kind of gave me a lot of respect for you in the way that you kind of dealt with that, because you were really open to being like, okay, well, like these are the issues. How could I improve? Because I'm trying to do all these things, and so. Anyways, not to linger on that for too long,
Yeah,
but I think it was a really good first. Sorry to cut you off, BDJ. I just think it was a really good first experience for us to have creatively and on like a friendship level, because we're fucking best friends and we're awesome creative partners. And at this point, like I could not see any of this happening without Ty. So he has become like fundamental to this whole project, because like I could not translate my music into songs that sound like this without him.
I was about to say he's probably you guys are going to be responsible for the fact that this will be the cleanest podcast I've ever recorded.
Yeah, right. You hang out with musicians with audio equipment, you get good microphones.
I was kind of like, wait, no, and then I'm like, no, this is the best thing I could do. Like, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we were able to figure it out, because that echoey room would not have been a sufficient.
The room itself was dope, though.
They need to treat it, bro.
The ceilings were dope.
Well,
yeah,
the
they
ceilings
need
are
somebody.
too high. And
So why'd you?
I need to holler at him and be like,
So
yo,
wait a
I'll
minute. Why'd you write "I'm addicted to crack" on the fucking whiteboard?
the first step in overcoming your issues, DJ, is to put them out there. You know, get them out in the air.
knowing is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle. So. It's called whiteboard therapy. All right?
It's whiteboard therapy.
Also, why does that white? It's not even a whiteboard. It was just like an opaque board. It was an opaque glass, board with with one expo marker that was dingy as hell.
I mean, there was one right next to me. You probably could have used it then, but like, God damn it, the fucking train has been derailed.
The train has been 100% derailed. So
Speaking of train, there was train tracks behind the hall in the yard.
there were train tracks.
Oh
behind the hall.
yes. Yeah.
If we're gonna talk about the hall, let's not use any real names, just for
We're
the
not-
sake of if somebody listens to this and they go, "Oh, you're talking shit about." I mean,
Yeah.
they'll know who they are, probably.
Yeah, no, like let's keep names out of it, and like I'll just say that much. I think we can be smart about this.
It just sucks.
I mean,
man.
there's not a whole lot to say.
There
It was
really
just-
isn't.
Okay, so
like
for
scam artists.
well,
I think that
yeah,
was-
no, let me give a little bit of a brief description. So my first job when I got down here in Orlando, it was at this food hall called the Hall on the Yard. Now, for those of you who work in the restaurant industry or have a little bit of experience, let me paint you the picture. So inside you walk in, there are 8 different restaurants.
not restaurants. They're not restaurants. They're
Okay,
concepts.
sorry.
all right? Please get it right.
Kitchens, Sam.
Concepts.
Mini-
Steve.
You are interrupting my my introduction.
Basically, mini kitchens that are like food trucks but stationary.
It pretty much looks like a fancy mall food court, but that's not all. And in the middle of the first story, the first floor, there is a bar that is. Would the word wraparound be appropriate?
Yeah, I mean it's like wraparound in the sense that
It's a full
like,
circle.
The outside and the inside bar are connected, so it
Well, it was a square, but like
was a
okay.
rectangle.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting into geometry now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bar also protruded outside.
50% of it was outside, 50% of it was
like
inside.
60 seats in total,
And
then-
it was connected all the way around.
yeah.
But then
There
you
were
go,
walls, but
yeah, there were walls. But then you go upstairs, and to your right, there is a fancy dining place for
private dining room.
private dining room for like paid events for like vendors, businesses, and even politicians at one point. And
Shout out to Ron DeSantis, Florida's fucking worst governor.
Wait.
He had dinner at the hall.
wait, did he really?
Yeah, right before we all started working there, they had Ronald DeSantis come there for some sort of press event, and I was really sad that I wasn't there to like
Damn.
spill drinks all over him.
Yes. And Sam's Canadian, folks. But
Yeah. So I have the right to hate Ron.
yeah, that I think like because of my skin tone, I have the right to hate him too.
Jesus.
Anyways, and towards the left, there is a more intimate private dining experiences for like say birthdays or like
Yeah, parties of like 20 or less.
Yeah.
Versus the other one was like a whole ass fucking space for like company buyouts and shit
Yeah,
like
there were
that.
like 15 tables in there. Like some of them were pretty big. There was a whole extra bar upstairs. It in hindsight, it's crazy they had so many bars, and then they had the smallest fucking fridge you could possibly get to keep all the bar stuff in.
Yeah.
now. With that being said about the layout, now let's get into the clientele. So so by day, it was obviously because you could order drinks. We had had a lot of adult patrons, but they would also bring in their children. Where on the front of the building there is a lawn made of
Yeah.
AstroTurf, and
Right next to the bar.
yeah, and it was also dog friendly. Not on the inside, obviously, but like on the outside, it was dog friendly because the whole restaurant layout was next to a bougie apartment complex.
I wouldn't say it's bougie.
They were
have
trying.
you
They
have
were
you
trying.
gone through that shit? It
Yeah,
looks
it's like a maze, bro.
it's a literal escape room. It is a literal what, like 6 stories, like a 6-story escape room. Like fuck.
It's ridiculously big. The pool up top on the roof.
Oh, that
sick.
shit is lit.
very
sick.
very nice. But the rest of it is like I would not want to live in the Daedalus's labyrinth.
I'd be curious to
Just for a pool.
what the apartments look like, but I digress. So going back to the clientele, this is what happens during the afternoon and early evening. But at night, based on music, and especially the
It
layout
just turned
upstairs.
into another downtown Orlando club at night.
I want to preface this with the fact that when we first started working there, we would do Sunday brunches. We would have a DJ. It was pretty chill. It was pretty good. It was pretty cool. It was a nice place to come. But as there started to be more and more issues with the actual business, as in like them trying to open up different locations and just failing, not being able to pay their employees, not being able to pay the vendors, they started to try and figure out the quickest ways they could make money, and that ended up being the upstairs, event room that we were talking about.
Yeah.
They would essentially rent that out to be a club space, and we would do like Wind Down Wednesday, but it was practically just like, hey, come to this place, get drunk, we're gonna have a DJ playing loud ass shit. And at first it was good, but then they started like bringing in like hookah and all this stuff, and it's like blasting the music with the windows open, and the difference between the daytime, like family oriented, and the night, like at 8 o'clock, it would roll over into just like literally like winter, like Alden Road Club, and
So-
like, it was fine, but it was just
It just got ratchet.
it got and
it got
the
ratchet.
issue was that we weren't even serving these people properly. We were overcharging them for everything. I worked this one event there, and we were charging people $40 to get a wristband to come into the event, but then like we ran out of liquor. We just started running out of liquor because they didn't stock us, but they were still letting people pay the $40 to come in to get their like few drinks for free, but we couldn't serve them their drinks, and then we weren't refunding them. So people were paying $40 to get in to get drinks. They weren't able to get their drinks, and then they were just stuck in this crowded
Yeah, and then
room.
when we left, that they kept running out of booze because they stopped paying their fucking liquor vendor.
Okay,
And then
so
once they stopped paying the fucking liquor vendor, then they started buying shit from ABC to fucking sell that like illegally as fuck.
Before we go down even more of the rabbit hole, if you're still on the air and listening to this, folks, if what we just described is unhinged lunacy, word vomit, and absolute confusion, that is the hall. It was the hall on the yard.
You cannot coherently explain what it was like to be there because it just sounds like a fever dream.
I was
sounds
going
like
to say fever dream.
Wait, I want to point this out. We were not a fucking business. We were just a co-ed frat. It was Animal House. It was Animal House in a fucking
crazy,
restaurant.
dude.
Yeah,
It was
they
crazy.
stopped paying us on time, and then they just stopped paying us. And it got to the point where even like the dish people, what they would do is they would not get a paycheck, and then they'd be like, "Oh, we'll just push your paycheck back or whatever." It got to the point where paychecks were overlapping like pay periods, and they were trying to be slick.
They were trying to be slick.
They're trying to be slick and be like, oh, you know, and hope that the people that weren't getting their pay stubs, because they were giving us fucking pay stubs on a fucking slit of paper that was a centimeter thick, and it's like,
It looks like it was shredded in a shredder, like one of those pieces from a shredder.
yeah, and I'm like, this is our pay stub. Like, you guys have all my fucking information on a website that I use to fucking get the job here, and you can't have my pay stubs
They
online.
stopped updating it on the actual like payday.
Well, I think
portal
they stopped using that.
and they were just doing it in like Microsoft Word instead.
No, well, the thing is, I think they stopped using our initial vendor because I think they were using Toast for payroll and our POS systems, and I think they pulled the plug on Toast without telling us so they could dip their hands in our fucking tip pool. And that's what they would do. They would front their own business expenses with our fucking tips, which is like incredibly illegal.
Wasn't there at one point where like I know for barbacks at least, like fucking the tips, quote unquote, were integrated into our paycheck, which kind of pissed me off. But like unlike the bi-weekly thing, the tips were weekly for a time.
Yes.
But I also saw like a couple of events I worked at, and like even one time I go to Terrence and I'm like, yo, I just did the math. This is fucking bullshit. What are y'all doing to me? Like one time, shit, I just mentioned it.
I was gonna say, well, the good
Shout
thing
out
is
to Terrence.
Yeah,
Shout out to Terrence.
Terrence
No,
was cool.
okay,
Terrence was the best part of the whole.
We can say his name.
Okay, let's
Just don't drop his last name.
But let's do this. So what names are we allowed to name in terms of the hires?
Don't name the higher ups. I don't want to run into any legal trouble.
Well-
Terrence was the goat,
Well,
though.
just-
Terrence, if you're hearing this, thank you for the mixing board. I appreciate you.
Well, God. Well, I asked because the people who actually owned it, they can be Googled and shit, and I think
Just Google the Hall on the Yard
Yeah, just do that.
Orlando.
You'll get all the names
Okay.
you want.
You'll learn about the bankruptcy.
not coming out of my
You'll
mouth.
learn about them owing $250,000 in fucking rent.
'Cause, like, I wouldn't put it past some of them
you
to
learn-
hear this with like 15 like listeners and then be like, "Oh, you guys are like defamation. Like you guys are defaming me on
and
live radio."
and you guys also couldn't keep another location open in both Tampa and New Orleans. I'm
And
not
Georgia,
gonna eat.
and Georgia.
No, I don't fucking count Atlanta because that shit was up for like 3 fucking weeks and then immediately tanked.
I can't believe the biggest bar in Georgia fell apart right away. You know they lied about that in all their press releases. They were saying that it was
What do you mean?
in all like the press statements, they were saying how it was going to be the biggest bar in all of Georgia. And then
just
it was
like
not.
just like how one of the owners lied about claiming to be in the NBA.
yeah, bro, really. Said,
Wait, that was a lie?
When they were opening New Orleans, yeah, he claimed to be in the NBA, and I guess they fact checked him, and they could not find anything on homie in the NBA.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, sucks to suck. I mean, it's kind of weird to tell like lies like that in the digital age where you can just Google it and just see if it's true or not. Like everybody who's played in the NBA for the past 50 years, since the inception of the sport, has been documented.
What got me what got me what got me fucked up is that like towards the end there, the quote unquote new owner that came in to try to save and whatnot.
Bro, he was a new scammer. He was just
No. He was like, I'm pretty sure he was working with the owner's like from the get go too. I'm pretty sure they're all interconnected.
I think he was working a little bit behind the scenes, and then he started to show his face, and then once he started to show his face, he just pulled this fucking ego trip out of his ass, and he would have mandatory fucking meetings with all the employees and start yelling and like.
It was so weird. We had this one meeting about paychecks. It was at like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was like, all right, whatever. But we go in and we're talking about paychecks, and he made this big whoop about people not being there. And then when he brought up like us getting paid, he's like, yeah, I can't guarantee that we'll pay you guys on time. And I was like, so why the fuck are we here? Like, why are you bitching these people up for not showing up if they haven't gotten paid and you're not gonna pay us? Like,
yeah, hey, come to this.
What are you talking about?
I know you're not getting paid, and I know that like we've been essentially borrowing your tip money, but you really need to go to this mandatory work meeting where I can just shit on you, be an asshole, point fingers, throw a temper tantrum, and then go, oh yeah,
I think I know
my
what
bad.
you're talking about.
Yeah,
now.
he started talking about one time, like he has this business, and apparently his daughter really wanted to be involved in it. And he was like, oh, every time I pick her up from school, or his granddaughter or something, he's like, every time I pick her up from school, she's like, Daddy, I want to run your business. I could run your business. Ba 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 ba. And he's like, oh well,
Your own fucking dad can't run the fucking business.
I'm like, how does homeboy even balance that business? But also like the gall of talking about how like your daughter wants to work and like we don't, when you're not even fucking paying us. Like what do you? I don't want to work for you because you're taking my tip money out of my paycheck, and then oh my god, when they would finally send you the money, it wouldn't even be accurate, like you said. So then you would have to go back, count up your own hours, be like, oh, I think it's this much, and then hit them up and have them like, oh my god, such bullshit, dude. It makes me so angry.
Yeah, and then
so angry talking about it.
When we started, we were on a tip pool, and then we ended up not being on a tip pool, which is
Specifically
actually
behind the bar.
Specifically behind the bar, which is actually pretty uncommon relative to most restaurants and bars in Orlando. 90 fucking percent of fucking bars or restaurants in Orlando, if you work behind a bar, you're going to be part of a tip pool, and usually, in practice, that's fine because that makes everyone motivated to work hard, so everyone is earning a lot of money. Well, the problem at the hall, the reason we got off of tip pool, it was the fucking bar was so big that we would actually have sections. You know, when most bars,
thought you were going to say we actually have sex.
Yes, well that too. Yes, absolutely.
It was that big, baby. It was that big.
Actually, I'm not going to go into too many details.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely. Some people definitely did. In the coolers,
in the elevator, in the
next
fucking
to the produce.
In the elevator.
When you have
elevator, bro.
But relative to other restaurants, like to add to my point, most restaurants and bars in Orlando aren't exceeding fucking 60 seats at the bar. So we would be, we would have sections.
60 at the downstairs
main bar,
and then like 20 more upstairs.
But my point is that we would have so many bartenders on, we would have like a little mini section. Like, okay, you'd have seat 1 through seat 7 or whatever. But the thing with the tip pool didn't work out because a lot of people weren't holding their weight. And they would leave the bar to go smoke a cigarette every 10 minutes. And then we'd have people playing fucking hooky
outside. Because the outside bar during like when it was raining, it would not get busy and everybody would come in. But the outside bartenders would just kind of sit out there and hang out. They wouldn't help. So then it's we're making all the money, but then you're getting like 20%.
And we bitched about it. We bitched about it so much. We finally got taken off the tip pool.
Shout out.
Then once we get off the tip pool, we start going to, okay, you eat what you kill. Essentially, every bartender is going to make what they make.
But wait. It took them like fucking a month or two after that was said before they actually went through with it.
Yeah, but honestly, whatever. It is what it is. Like, I understand like certain situations like that. Like, it might take a little bit of time because how deeply integrated the tip pool was to begin with. They had to like crack the code on that. We're not talking about the most intelligent leaders that are running this place. But let me make. I'm trying to make like fully come full circle. So this ties into the money aspect. Once we got to where it was eat what you kill, you're making the tips of the people that you're closing out. Certain people got promoted to being bar captains, and they had 1 to 2 months experience
of being a bartender in their life. Meanwhile, we have other bartenders with fucking years of experience that are under them, and we used to have the
reason this
authority.
happened was because if you just kissed ass there, bro, you could literally
You'd get
get
what you
away
want.
with anything.
Yeah,
and
but
you could
but
get
you
away
would have
with-
to kiss ass to some of the most like lame motherfuckers.
And wait a
Lame
minute.
as-
And wait a minute. Sometimes you would literally have to kiss someone's ass.
Yeah,
and when I
probably.
mean
Straight
literally,
mouth to
I
starfish.
mean fucking literally, folks.
Yeah, it was fucking.
Mouth to
It was a shit
starfish,
show.
bro.
But when that happened, all the bartenders at one point had the authority, like the fucking privilege of having the numbers that they could type in to do things that typically managers would do, like transfer checks to other employees or to modify your tip after the check has been closed out. Like most restaurants you work at, you need a manager to swipe their fucking card to authorize you to do these kinds of things, because the manager has to double check like everything that you're saying and make sure it's true, so there's no like fraud or anything, or that you're not doing anything sketchy. Well, at one point all the bartenders had this authority, because we're fucking bartenders. And so it wasn't ever an issue to transfer checks or, oh, I'm going to clock out and I can't clock out if I still have checks under me. So can you, like for me with Sam, I'd be like, Sam, I'm gonna clock out and go home. Can I just transfer this check to you? You take care of them. You get the tip, whatever. And then you'd be like,
Easy.
yeah. And then boom,
I'd
we
like
would do
Sam's
that.
tip.
Well, what ended up happening is only a select few, when I say few, I mean like literally 2 people ended up having the authority to be able to transfer checks, whereas everyone else, just all the bartenders in the snap of the fingers, lost that privilege. And where that makes it an issue, when you're not doing tip pool, you have people like the first time I sold 1942 shots at the hall.
For people that don't know,
Someone-
1942 is a moderately expensive tequila.
Yes, but
It's
made
not
by Don
particularly
Julio.
good, but it's
it's
expensive.
okay. It's just it's a celebrity fucking tequila, and I sold 2 shots, and each shot was like $50-$60. And one of the coworkers of ours who had the authority to change checks, she saw that I was serving them, and she deliberately took the check and put it under her name, but she did it behind my back without asking me, so she could
Wow.
make the tip off of it.
Yeah.
Wait a
And-
minute.
This is a leader too. This is a captain.
and I caught her. I caught her doing this, and I confronted her, and she tried to play dumb. And that same shift, she ended up doing it 2 more times, and I confronted her. And then when the actual bar manager came in, she had the audacity to go, Ty, what you don't seem like you're hustling. I need you to hustle. And I said, well, half of my money has been fucking taken from me today. And she's like, what do you mean? And I told her, and the bar manager had no, like, she didn't have my back. She did not have my best interest. And she literally let a bar captain steal money from me and change checks to
Just
because
because she was getting her ass kissed.
just because she was kissing her ass. And then she had the audacity to get mad at me and was like, Ty, you better not cop an attitude. I said, literally, this bitch has been stealing money from me. You want to talk about an attitude? I'll walk the fuck out right now. And I yelled it in front of guests. I said, I fucking dare you to try me. I will leave right now, and I'll stay on the clock. Fuck you. And then she stopped.
And this was after like months and months and
Oh my
months of just
God.
bullshit, like the bar flooding. Our AC would start leaking.
Oh, yeah,
Like, I was on
not
the-
to mention the
the
bathroom.
waterfall. Oh yeah,
The bathroom
the
from upstairs.
bathroom would leak onto the bar, and it's like,
it
oh.
would get into entrees.
I'd be like, guys, we have to stop service because this is like contamination. I'd be like, oh, we'll just block off the area.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah, I literally had rain droplets coming from the men's bathroom, and it got into someone's fucking entree, and I literally froze, and I was like, I'm gonna go get a manager. But the managers were having a mandatory meeting, and I literally interrupted this meeting because someone is getting literal bathroom
water, bro. Like doo-doo water.
doo-doo water in their entree, and one of the managers gaslit the absolute piss out of me, talking about, you interrupted this meeting. What the fuck could be so important? I'm like, dude, someone is going to get a fucking bacterial and viral disease.
He's getting E. coli,
Like,
bro.
literally.
E. coli.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? And he gave me shit for interrupting. I was like, dude, someone just got fucking, like, can you take care of this food? Because at the time, we had a specific kitchen called Chef and I was the most stubborn when it came to getting comps and shit. That was another issue because all of these kitchens.
Shout out to you, Condo.
Since all of the kitchens were individually and privately owned, you would have to run it up with them to get things taken care of or like comped, whatever. And they were like one of the most difficult ones, and there was an entree from that kitchen. But the manager's like, oh, Ty, you're a bartender. You have charisma. Just give them a free shot. I'm like, a free shot, bro? They're about to spend $45 on fucking duck and waffles, bro, and they're getting literal fucking E. coli poopy
They're
water in their shit.
getting shit. They are literally getting shit. Like alcohol, like is not gonna kill. I mean, it could kill that, but it could also fucking kill them because the amount of alcohol that would be needed to like eradicate the fucking E. coli. Yeah, you're gonna need a lot of that.
We were definitely on track towards starting a brand new virus in that establishment at some point. I think the biggest issue with the whole food thing was that we had all these vendors that were incredibly inconsistent with the quality of the food that they would put out. And then it got to the point where it was so inconsistent that, you know, like every time somebody would come in, we'd have an issue. Like I'd have 3 issues per night with this one kitchen. And instead of either doubling or getting them to fix their standards, you know, getting rid of them because they just wanted that sweet rent money because each one of these vendors was paying rent to be in the building, or just, you know, like taking care of the food because they didn't want to have to comp food or give it away for free because it was messed up, because that would be money out of their pockets. They just started trying to find ways that we could like snake people into paying $30 for their messed up like ridiculously overpriced $30 for a small portion of a fucked up entree.
Soul plate.
And yeah. Just give them some well shots. Just give them some well shots, and that'll be okay. And people our clientele just slowly started dwindling. Like all the people that would come in that were regulars that actually liked the food.
Shout out Joel.
They just stopped coming. Shout out Double Tito's guy as well. Shout out Double Tito's guy.
Double Tito's guy.
Yeah, this dude, he used to
Double Tito's
shout out.
guy.
I guess he lived in the apartments. He would come up to the bar like couple times a week. He'd be like, "Let me get a Double Tito's." He'd slam it. He'd go about his day.
And he'd tip us fat.
He'd tip
just
us
walk
fat.
away.
He was a really cool guy. One of my favorite
Double
customers.
Tito's guy, bro. We still don't know his name. He's literally a regular.
Shout out to him. I hope he's doing well.
I love the fact that like
Also, shout out Hideaway.
Shout out Hideaway.
Yeah, no. Hideaway was the dive bar across the street where when we get off our shift, we needed to fucking decompress. We needed.
Yep.
Oh, that was the last time. Also, when when I officially left, I was like, "Cheers to you, motherfuckers!" Like, I miss you guys. Yeah, no. For me personally, like, the biggest problems were like, I wasn't getting paid. So one time, like. On God, what was the social our social there, like our messages, our own social media?
7 shifts.
Yes.
7 shifts. Thank
Shout
you.
out to 7 shifts.
Yeah, shout out to 7 shifts. You need to review your clients better. Fucking.
Oh, maybe 7 shifts was the one that had our we were doing payroll through them. Maybe
No. It was
wasn't
Toast.
Toast.
It was Toast.
okay.
But like, so. I want to say this was the 4th or 5th time like we didn't get paid, and I'm like finally like after a week later it's like, so where's our money? And they're like,
What money?
yeah, no, essentially they were like, what money? And I'm like, all right, good luck having one of your workhorses come in tomorrow. And then I'm not gonna name them because whatever. They post is like, we all have to stick together, as if like they're on a fucking yacht, like spelling out we're all in this together kind of deal. Is like,
Well, because they were getting tired of the negative attitude.
Well,
the quote unquote negative attitude.
No, they were trying to make it like a fucking cult. It was like a cult, especially the fucking servers that worked there, bro.
Like I said, it was it was a glorified co-ed frat in a fucking restaurant. But like, wait, let me go off on this for a second. As soon as that was posted, I was like, thank you for saying that, but here's the reality. If this was the 1st or 2nd time this had happened, it'd be all right. But this is the 4th or 5th time. So when y'all can give me my motherfucking money, I will come in. And then continuing on with that story, because there is an ending to it. Fucking the restaurant manager, like... I won't say which one, messaged me is like saying, can we get you to come in today? I can't
like privately.
Yeah, no,
message you.
yeah, no. Like, can you get? I can give you 400 of your check, but that's it. And I'm like, all right, bet. But
literally getting bribed with money they were already going to pay you.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was like, so, all right. But here's the thing. You're gonna hand that shit into me in cold hard cash before I even clock in. So you bet your ass I fucking walk in. So I walk into that like Joey Badass. I just stand there as they're answering calls. They don't even acknowledge me, but I know they know I'm there. And without even looking at me, they remove a fucking envelope from their shirt there. I count that shit right in front of them, and I'm like, "Thank you, so and so," and then I clocked in. And the thing about it is, like, honestly, that should have been a bonus, but that came out of the money that should have mine.
So, hey, let's break this down into really digestible pieces. You have a group chat of, hey guys, we're in this together. We just got to stick together. I know we're not getting paid on time, but we're in this together. We're a team. We're a family. No. And then and then that's when you're like, fuck it, I ain't coming in. And then they offer you, hey, we'll give you about 60% of the check that's already being late.
No. It was about like I want to say 40% of the fucking check. Let's keep numbers accurate here.
Yeah. Okay. Hey. I know you got upset that you're not getting paid, and I know you said you can't come in, but like, DJ, like, man. How about this? Right? I'll give you 40% of your own check to you that is already being paid 3 weeks late. I will pay you 40% of what you're owed a whole month after you were supposed to receive it to begin with.
I mean, it wasn't a whole month, but like,
you know what I mean.
Well, they've been skimming money off our check. Do you honestly believe?
I had dude. Yeah, no, I know they were definitely skimming money off the top, but I'm exaggerating a little bit. There was a private event. The last event I ever worked at the hall, it was a speed dating.
Oh, this is gonna piss people off.
Yeah, it was a speed dating service. I don't know where you're going with this by you saying that, but it was like a little speed dating kind of thing, event, and I was bartending for it. And I'm not even bullshitting. It took them 3 months for them to pay me for that event. I swear to God.
No shit.
3 fucking months. I swear to God. And I was on their ass. Like, I was contacting this person A, person B, person C, person D every week. And I think the only reason I was able to even get the money is because I knew that I never got paid for it and that I was owed it. It took them 3 fucking months to pay me for a private event. It's like you have to take deposits for these big events, and a lot of the deposits are like, I think the minimum deposit's $500 for like the most baby package that we offered. Most of the other deposits are like $1,000 or more. You're telling me that with that deposit, you can't front me the flat rate that you guaranteed me? You got your fucking deposit. I don't. Yeah.
Of course they can't. Of course they can't.
But yeah.
They couldn't even guarantee.
So,
bro, they couldn't even guarantee that we'd have straws behind the bar. They couldn't even guarantee that we'd have napkins or
boxes,
fucking
boxes. That's the reason one of the bartenders that we really fuck with. Shout out to you. You know who you are. Didn't like Chef and I for the longest time.
Yeah, that shit was goofy, and it was so toxic. And it's like, everyone talks about a fucking toxic work environment, but when it becomes as illegally ran as that was, not getting paid on time, the floors are fucking leaking.
It's not toxic, it's criminal.
Yeah, exactly. It's toxic and criminal.
It was literally,
and then the floors would get. I literally had to work a 14-hour double, open to fucking close
in a puddle,
and my socks were soaking wet. By the time I got home and took my socks off, my fucking feet were like literally blistering. They were fucking wrinkly, like
looked like California raisins, bro.
Yeah, literally pruned as fuck. And I'm like, dude, this is bad because this is nasty ass bar water. Like, this isn't just like a random spill. It's nasty ass fucking floor, like bar water.
It was literally The Office in a restaurant cranked up to 11.
No, the Office is endearing. You know, the characters, they might be morons, but they're well intentioned. Everybody there was either a clout goblin, a moron who should not have been in the position they were in, somebody who made a big mistake and was now stuck there for some reason, or like just somebody who was gonna like passing through, because we literally had people like spend 2 days there. They'd go, holy shit, I can't do this, and they'd bounce. They would be gone like the wind.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you on one aspect about that, because like you guys aren't any of that, and I became really good friends with y'all. And like
there's always the outliers. There's always the outliers. So I wasn't including us in that.
The outcast, like because no, I get what you're saying. Because here's the thing: if you were actually capable of work in your job, you were fucked. And I say this from experience because I ran 4 different fucking positions by the end of my 10-month period there. Like a lot of people say, I should have been like in a supervisor or managerial position. Well, one, fuck that, because who want to manage that shit show?
You would have gotten paid even less.
Yeah, I know, right? The salaries, forget about. Well, if I
What's salary, bro?
Well,
it's not a salary if they don't ever give you.
Well,
the
if
money.
I sucked up to some of the real higher ups there, I think it could have worked out better. But like, here's the thing: like, even though it was a good experience in terms of work and really showed me what I'm made of, and it did give me it was a good first job in Florida, a good first job on the journey here, and like meeting all y'all.
For a very short period of time, the hall was dope to work at.
It was
Agreed.
But it was
a very short.
It was a small-lived window.
Very small
Yeah.
live window. It was
Like
like
when
2 months,
when I
maybe.
first worked there, like that it was like that fall season of not last fall, but the fall before that when Daniel was still working. Well, I'm not working.
shout out to you,
Shout out to
Daniel.
Daniel, yeah.
Shout out to
You know, when
Daniel.
Daniel was working there, and it's like when like it became fall, it was cooling down, you know, and like Ivanhoe Brewery would have their like little events. We'd have like the little farmers market, and then like leading up to holiday season, it was great. Everyone was in a good mood. Everyone liked coming to work. Everyone was making money. That window was fucking. That's what made us all see the potential that place truly had.
And then New Orleans.
And then it just fucking nosedive.
Yeah,
like flat.
I
on
really
its
think it was
fucking
after
face.
they tried to open up the New Orleans location, because I really think they had good intentions with that. But it was just such an abysmal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I think they were probably just trying to play catch up
wait.
ever since that. It was just a never ending. Yeah.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. Like, I know we've been going on this subject for a second, but I am extremely curious because you're the only one of us that went to New Orleans.
Yeah, I
So tell me what that shit show was like.
So, you know, at the time, it was when the hall was still good, I will say. So there started being these rumors that they were opening up a New Orleans. It wasn't rumors; they were opening up a New Orleans location, and there were rumors that they were going to send some of the staff there to kind of help train the people they had hired, get everything set up, kind of show them how we do it in Orlando, because Orlando was the only location that could actually function. Their Tampa location shut down, and we were actually profitable for a little bit. So they were sending out like texts and stuff, and I ended up getting invited to go along. And I thought it would be a really great opportunity. A couple of other people thought that. And so I was like, okay, sweet. Like, I've never been to New Orleans. I love music. So, you know, New Orleans is kind of like the capital of that. Love jazz music. Was very excited to see some live jazz music. I just thought it would be such an awesome opportunity. I said yes right away without even really thinking about it. And it came together pretty quickly. It was like 2 weeks after they had invited me that we were supposed to get on a plane and go. And we'd be working while we were over there. They were paying for the flight, the hotel room. So I thought it would be good. You know, I thought with the money that we were making at the hall in Orlando, it would be, you know, even if it was a fraction of that, it would have been great to go over to New Orleans, make that, you know, not have to pay for living, flight. Great. We get there, everything seems great. They pick us up in cars from the airport. They drive us over. It's awesome. We get in our hotel rooms. We each have roommates. It was a lot of fun. Everybody was really excited. We went to see the location. It was really an awesome venue. It was in a great part of New Orleans in the business district, I think. So there were a lot of like local offices nearby. It would have been great for lunch, great for dinner, right next to some really great restaurants as well. So it was definitely in the right area. And we saw the menu. We met some of the chefs. met some of the staff they had hired, some of the management they had working there, and then the next day was when we were actually going to start like our training, go in, get ready for the opening in 2 days. And so when we went over the next day, everybody had really high spirits still, and they were kind of walking through everything, and it seemed really promising. We got to try some of the food, awesome. Like I have to say again, the concept was awesome. The concept was so cool. It was a lot smaller scale from the one we had in Orlando. It was going to be a lot more intimate too. Like we had like the different like venues, but they were more different parts of one bigger restaurant. So it was less food hall-y and more actually just like a restaurant. They had a lot of like New Orleans specific food. They had like a lobster po' boy that was actually really good. And they had some gumbo, just traditional New Orleans stuff. Because, if you're going to open up a restaurant in New Orleans, you got to satisfy the locals. Because these are people that have lived there their whole lives with good, amazing food. Like some of the food I had there, DJ, oh my God. Like if you're going to open up a restaurant, the food needs to be good because these people know what good food is.
Okay, let's sift through like some of the finer aspects. Although that shit does sound good. What fucked up?
Well, what fucked up is that they didn't have anybody hired. They didn't have employees. So essentially what we started to realize is they had only flown us over there just to act as warm bodies for the opening while they hired people because I guess they thought, the opening would go really well and then people would come in. It didn't. And the people they had hired had like no experience in the restaurant industry. So you're trying to open a restaurant with people who don't know how restaurants function. It's such a...
Let alone translating average restaurant knowledge to how the hall fucking works.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like you've already got this unique concept. Can you give me my water? You've already got this unique concept, right? That you can't, you're not even confident about executing to the best of your abilities in Orlando. You're still kind of working out the kinks. And now you're going to open up a whole new location in a whole new market without like anybody who knows really what the fuck they're doing. So we open up. The first wave of people we got from the marketing, it was good. People said they enjoyed it. Some of the locals weren't like stunned by the food. They said they could find better stuff elsewhere, which I'm very sure they could. But then like that's when the cracks really started forming. So they didn't have people to work there. The people they did hire were just like they just weren't it.
They did not have the credentials.
They did not have the credentials, so it's like we're training these people that it's like, oh my God, like when you're teaching somebody something and you can just tell like they're not getting it and they don't have any desire to get it, it's impossible. It's impossible to like train somebody how to do something or teach somebody how to do anything if they're not interested in learning and they think they already know how to do it all. So that was a shame. The business also was not good. The business was not good at all.
What fucking business?
Exactly, like what business? But it was horrible. We were all pooling tips, so it's like the little money that could be made because they had so many of us on the floor. We were getting like $15 a piece. Pooling tips between the bar and the service, like the whole restaurant. When we were going over, a lot of us were worried about food. Because, when you're living in a hotel room, you need food to eat. And
obviously, yeah.
When you're staying in the tourist part of New Orleans, it's expensive. Everything's expensive. It's like $30, $35 for like a meal for one person because, you want to tip.
Jesus.
So it's expensive. And the food's good, but, we're not made out of money. So they told us they'd be making family meals twice a day. Even if we weren't working, we could go to the restaurant, we could eat. So it's like, okay, great. Even if we don't have the money to eat, we can still go get some food. No, because every time they would make the family meals, some of the locals that they had hired would fucking box up a shit ton of the food while we weren't there and then take it home with them. So it's like they're flying us in, then they're letting all the people who live in New Orleans who have homes, like I get maybe you're struggling with food, but bro, we're in hotel rooms, like we got to eat too, and like, oh motherfucker.
And I want to clarify something. Did the Hall LLC like pay for your hotel rooms and all that shit?
They paid for the flight and the hotel rooms, but and this is why I think they just did not expect it to go so poorly after the initial opening, because when we first got our first paycheck, I was expecting like $500, $600. It was like $220, and like that was after a week of already working there. That was like a week's worth of my hourly and my tips, and I'm like, this is fucking dog, like this is abysmal. This is horrible amounts of money. I was already spending money I had in my savings account to continue eating while I was there, and it's like that did not offset the costs because it's like $30 you want to eat at least lunch and dinner, even if you skip breakfast. It's like, okay, that's like $60 plus a day. Also, like
If you wanted a drink, if you wanted to do something, if you wanted to do some tourism
to do
shit.
the tourism that they told us they wanted us to do while we weren't there, it cost money. And like we were even trying to keep it thin, but it's like everything in New Orleans costs money. Ubers to go somewhere cost money. You could get on the trolley, but it wasn't always an option. They told us to explore like the stuff in the area, so we went out, we did some of that, and just like being there costed money if you didn't just want to sit in the hotel room.
You're looking
who wants
at
to sit in the hotel room if you're going somewhere to work? Like I'm working and I'm sitting in a hotel room. Why did I even come here?
But
anything from the trolley.
But so we started.
It's like you're looking to spend $100, $200 a day if you want to do it right.
And so after a week, they offered to send some of us back. They were like, okay, well, if you guys don't want to be here anymore, you guys can go home early. So like all the servers left. Good for them. It was the best decision they could have made. But I was really still adamant about the opportunity. I thought it would kind of start to turn around, and I thought we would start to get business, and with less people, there'd be more money to make. Nope, because it was so fucking slow. And not to mention some of the people that did stay or were there before, they would just like call out of work. Like they would call out.
It was the same with the fucking Orlando branch.
But when you're somewhere specifically to work and then you're calling out and just hanging out in New Orleans, you just got a free trip at that point, which was insanity to me. It was so funny.
How about the fact that there were so many opportunities where it was said that you can't be late, and guess what? Motherfuckers show up late. So
and nothing.
The fucking owners would show up fucking late. The managers would show up late. Here's the thing. Everyone was calling the fucking kettle black there, bro. Like, oh, you can't steal from me. Oh, but you're stealing from so-and-so. You can't be late, but I can be late.
Hey, rules for thee, not rules for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it was just everyone was out to, like, it was just sharks.
Yeah.
It was either eat or get eaten. Like, it was just, that's all it was. It was just, everyone was stealing. Everyone was fucking not ringing shit in, pocketing cash, skimming money off the top, fronting fucking tip money. Like, it was just
drinking behind the bar.
I mean, dude,
much worse behind the bar.
No. Fuck that. We definitely drank
I
behind the bar.
100% drank behind the bar.
Fuck that. If you're not getting fucking paid and you're working at a bar, the least you can do is pour up top shelf.
I'm taking some Class A, bro. I'm taking some Class A Azul to the face.
Yeah.
Give me some Patron, motherfucker.
Rari shots out the ass for net Campari, bro.
All that.
The fucking Casa Dragones.
Bro, give me that Whistle Pig 12 year.
Bro.
Down the hatch. Give me that Boss Hog. We didn't have Boss Hog, but
unfortunately, we also didn't have Rumplemints, which really would have
that would have been over the top. That would have really
no.
That would have killed.
I don't think we were equipped for that, even for the unhinged chaos.
The people that Rumplemints brings along with it, we would not have been able to handle that.
I'm not gonna say who it is, but the person that brought me into the hall introduced me to Rumplemints, and I'm like, this could really.
Rumplemints is disgusting. The only time you should ever have Rumplemints is if you vomit at the club and you want to make out with a girl. What you do is you get a shot of Rumplemints and you treat it like Listerine. I'm serious. I saw this guy do it.
God.
I saw this guy do it. He threw up like a motherfucker, got a shot of Rumplemints, used it as fucking mouthwash, and then proceeded to make out with a girl.
Oh my God.
Rumplemints is one of the reasons why I'm very wary of that made me more wary of smoking, because when you hit it, it literally activates all the abrasions and small cuts on your throat.
It's like menthol. It's like smoking a fucking Newport. But
it's like drinking a Newport, bro.
Yeah.
It's like drinking a Newport.
We are approaching an hour.
Well,
I wanted to.
Well, wait a minute. No, we've been on this subject for a while. I was gonna close it out soon, but we really went with it. Before I get the final.
Close it. Hold on. What did you want to say before you close it out, DJ?
No, not the podcast. The subject.
The subject.
Sorry.
I wanted to kind of defer the subject into Hideaway.
Okay, yeah. But before we close out the hall, any final thoughts on it before I say what I got to say?
Fuck them.
It was good while it lasted.
Okay, so
you never really know you're in the golden days until.
Oh my God,
they're far. I forget what Andy Dwyer from The Office. I don't know. Andy something. Shout out to Andy from The Office.
Well, with that being said, okay, so to those who are listening, if you were in any way associated with the hall, if you worked with us personally, then for the people that we still fuck with and who weren't ultimately.
You know who you are.
Yes, you know who you are. If you weren't ultimately egotistical fuck faces that tried to play Game of Thrones in the fucking restaurant just to get ahead in life, then we're cool. And shout out to you guys. We love you. I love you. Like, I could go off a list of names, but for legal reasons, I won't do that. But you guys know who you are. And for the other half of that equation, guess what? We only used one actual name, and y'all can be Googled. Y'all can be fucking Googled, and you have a track record.
We live in 2024. Like, there's receipts on the internet.
Exactly.
You can't hide anymore.
Yeah, you have a track record for this kind of behavior, and you still owe a lot of people, including us, a lot of fucking money.
Actually, no, they do owe me money. Never mind.
I was I was about to say, Sam.
$70 still, but whatever.
Probably more than that, knowing them. But like, so
70
would that be
you know of.
that you know of?
Yeah.
So go fuck yourself. And I hope karma bites you in the ass. And that's how I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Hideaway.
Oh, yes.
So as we leave the topic of the hall behind us, Hideaway was a bar across the street. It was a dive bar. It's a fucking Miami Dolphin dive bar at that. I don't know. They're a controversial team to like, I guess. I don't know. Someone was describing Miami fans as the worst. I never had any beef with them. But Hideaway was cool. We would go there after work.
Well, anybody from Miami is the worst.
Hey, I've known a couple people from Miami. They're not too bad.
Yeah,
That I know of.
Broward's a little better than Dade. But yeah, we would go there. We'd get some drinks. I'm really excited for them to open their new location. Yeah, Hideaway was literally our fucking escape from the hall. After shifts, we would go there, get drinks. They were cheap. Their food's actually pretty good for a fucking dive bar. Like, their burgers fucking hit. And their wraps and everything else.
Their wings, like,
Yeah,
forget
food,
about
their
it.
shit's fucking dank.
The BLT, bro. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Hideaway BLT.
And dude, I was thinking about it because they're opening their new location directly across the street from where they're at now. And they're building it from the ground up. So it's not going to be, it's going to be brand new. They're going to go from being a dive bar. It might be kind of bougie now. And I'm excited to see. But the thing is,
It'll be bougie for like 2 months and then it's right back to dive bar.
yeah, that's fine. But like, I hope the people that work there still remember us because we got to fucking do shows there.
Yeah. If anybody from Hideaway is listening right now, please book us. We'll do it for a bar tab.
Shout out to James and Tori. You guys really... you guys were the OGs and the guys who really pulled us through when we were in our darkest points over across the street. Love you guys so much. Go on, Sam.
I mean, that's about it. Yeah, just shout out to
Yeah.
James and Tori. You guys are real for that. For just all the memories, all the times you took care of us while we were all sitting out back.
Skanks for the memories.
And while we're shouting out people, we were talking, like, how we started this podcast essentially was talking about the Over Party, which is me and Sam's group. I would like to mention that there are more people to the bigger picture of the band now. We now have Evan.
Yeah, shout out to Evan Dienick, our beautiful bass player.
Is our bass player. And my fucking
Your
my
headphones,
shit.
yeah.
My
Keeps
shit
coming out.
Yeah, it keeps it's fucking laggy. And Amanda.
Yeah, shout out to Amanda too. Forget her last name because I'm horrible, but
Hi, Amanda. We've never met before, but hi.
She's in my phone as Amanda Marketer.
yeah, Amanda's been a big help for our kind of marketing push.
Like publicity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
publicity.
as of right now, the Over Party is technically 4 people right now.
Yeah.
Okay, before we hit the bags on this, Sam, America versus Canada. Which
Canada.
are you?
What aspect? In what like?
It'd be easier to answer which aspect is Canada not better in.
Not better in heat.
It can get pretty. It can get pretty hot up there.
The Over Party is supposed to be a band that reps Florida, and right now you're not really doing that. So
We can rep Canada too.
I mean, I just want consistency with our brand moving forward.
Listen, man, I just think that you need to be more consistently
Got him.
not diluted.
Got 'em.
Not.
You
No,
need
but I mean,
to
I
be
do
more
think that
consistent
Canada.
with the answer.
I do think that Canada is probably the greatest country on the planet Earth. When Canada was founded, back in the Lord's year, I call it the Lord's year because it's the only year that matters.
What year was that?
1776.
I was about to say what year.
No,
are you-
1776 was kind of like when you like shit in a toilet and then you forget to flush it and then you go on vacation for 2 weeks and you come back.
Wow, coming from someone that loves celebrating the 4th of July.
That's not conductive for
last
the
time?
Florida ban.
Listen, what I do on the 4th of July is I close my eyes and I pretend that I'm in Vietnam.
Jeez.
It's all about strengthening your like mental fortitude. So I feel like by doing that, I can put myself.
I should have put a disclaimer for those listening. You got to strengthen your mental fortitude for this entire fucking podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
What did I sign up for?
Listen, you're the one asking me to compare probably the greatest thing mankind's ever done
My
to
penis?
the United States of America. So I don't really know what you expect from me.
Okay, Sam is hating a little hard right now. You need to be a little bit
Listen,
prideful of America.
I love my American homies. I soon too will be an American. I'll get my citizenship. I'll be allowed to be here, so they can't kick me out. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, Canada's just better.
Not as well.
It's more beautiful. It's more scenic, definitely. We have better seafood. Like, it's further north than Maine, so the seafood is better. It's kind of like the further north you go, the better the seafood gets. That's just kind of the rule of it.
To be fair, it did produce your face.
It did.
And your penis, but like
And Jim Carrey.
and Jim
and
Carrey,
Seth Rogen.
and also
Seth Rogen's from Canada.
Is he?
Yeah.
is he really?
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Another one.
And it also unfortunately produced Justin Bieber.
Listen, Justin, he's he's a good kid. He's older than me, but he's a good kid.
Bret Hart is pretty good too.
Yeah, I do like me some Bret Hart. Roddy Piper, shout out to him as well.
Now, I said
Read what I fucking
Vancouver, like Western Canada, whatever.
now. I was gonna say that was the last subject, but like I actually have one more question for you guys.
Yes.
For when it comes to both music artistry, like regardless of genre, and also when it comes to people who are like in the service industry, we can say just in Florida, but like in general, what is your biggest tips and pieces of advice?
Get out of the service industry. That's why.
I mean, you have to fuck off. I mean, the service industry, what it allows is freedom in your scheduling. Whereas, if you get booked a gig on a Friday or Saturday night, it's really not that fucking hard to get that shift covered and fucking go and do what you got to do. If you're working a 9 to 5, you are very limited to your schedule, and you have to get paid time off, or like you have to schedule time off. You have too much time off, you call out too much, you'll just get fired. Like at a restaurant, there's a lot more flexibility, and I feel like as a musician, artist, someone who's trying to pursue other avenues, I think hospitality is good for that type of flexibility.
We predominantly work nights too, so that's definitely like a big help because we can work on stuff during the day.
Right.
Practice and then worry about actually having to work
And
when everything's already been done. So,
and musical artistry in general.
how do you mean? Oh, just advice for musical artistry? Well, I mean, I think that practice is key. I think musicianship is something that's very important, especially if you play an instrument. But even if you're making like rap beats, just try and be an artist. People want to be super formulaic with how they produce their music, and that can be really beneficial. But when it comes to creativity, like at the end of the day, you are a musical artist. put some of who you are into what you're making, and that sounds difficult, but
this man is like low-key sending shots at me by saying that.
no, I'm not sending shots at anybody, because like I think like in any genre of music, even if it's EDM, like you can put a personal touch on your music, and that doesn't have to be something so unique that it's never been heard before, but like literally, like I don't know, it is easier said than done. I feel like some people have
Make it
have an easier way.
personal. You don't have to click in and
Just be yourself ultimately, because like yes, if you make music that is inauthentic, you will, you can have success with that. You can have financial success.
I personally don't think it's as fulfilling and rewarding without the personal sentiment behind it.
I find a great deal of respect in people who dedicate their life to any kind of craft or any kind of artistry. It's about commitment, and it's about dedication to something that you want.
Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
We're going to end on that line.
Exactly.
So, folks, when it comes to starting up your own band, when it comes to mutus, I wish I could mute that right now, music artistry in general, and when it comes to working in the service industry, and also shout out once again to Hall in the Yard. Go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Flat out, folks.
Here.
We got nothing. All right, Top G, Brick, thank you guys for hopping on this, brothers.
Course.
Like, I'd been wanting this for weeks, and this was the proper build-up, and I love it. So how would you love the listeners to follow you guys individually and the band?
All right, so first things first you're going to do is you're going to go stream our new hit single, quadruple platinum. It's almost at quintuple platinum on Spotify, Heart Attack. We put a shit ton of effort into that. When you're done with listening to Heart Attack, you're going to go hit the follow button at the top of our Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon Music page. You're going to hit that so that you can be in touch with everything that we are releasing going forward. It is only going to get better, and I could not mean that more. The third thing you can do is go check out Daisies. We released that back in March, and we put a lot of effort into that. That was kind of like the catalyst for this whole operation, so definitely check that out. Follow us on socials. We're on Instagram, TikTok. Not Twitter.
Instagram.
Just follow us on Instagram.
At the Overparty Official.
Official, because we're officially the Overparty.
And individually, if you'd like that.
Yeah, I mean, I got
Sam Gillis _ Tidometer _
Yeah, go follow us
What
on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, you changed the Brick
changed
Theory
it.
there. And if you would like to see what Life on Saturn Productions is cooking up in the future, please follow Life on Saturn. I love you, Sam. Please follow Life on Saturn Comics on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you would also like to see what I personally provide in terms of content, please follow me at Catalyst Jost. That is CATALY 5TJ05T. And with that being said, folks, please keep your vibes dope, keep your zen flowing, and as always, peace.